Hello there, everybody, LARPers, TARPers, and everybody in between. Welcome back to LARPs and TARPs. I'm here joined today by Chloe.
Hello.
Morgan.
Hi.
Tom.
What's up?
And Kerrie.
Hello.
My name is Alex, and we are fresh back from the field.
I feel like,
Wow,
I feel like fresh is definitely the wrong word.
We are alive back from the field.
Alive might be a strong
Alive
word.
is semi-accurate.
We are back from the field.
We're back from the field to a certain extent.
And I might have to actually correct you. Award-winning LARPs and TARPs.
Award-winning
Yes.
LARPs. I have it on the wall here next to me.
Of the studio.
Of the studio.
The very professional studio. Yes.
Yeah.
What does the award say? What is it?
Best tarp-based podcast, LARPs and TARPs, and it's written on an actual piece of tarp.
Yeah, while we were packing away on Sunday, it was starting to rain. I was like, oh, better cover up the award. I went, wait a minute. It's a tarp. That's literally the point. It's fine.
Honestly, incredible gift from Oily. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, really surprised us all. We came to the Jackdaw camp on the Thursday when we were all gathered around and literally kept asking, where's this person? Where's Morgan? Waiting for us to all get together. Like, okay, fine. Is everyone? I was like, what is he gonna ask us to do? I was a bit nervous.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous.
And then he presented us with an award.
It was beautiful. There was port. There was an award. I couldn't be happier.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
lovely.
Nice, dangerous Thursday.
Yeah.
I think that was the point. I was drinking straight gin. So,
Yeah.
it was a pretty dangerous Thursday.
Thursday was the night I get hammered, and then I behaved myself,
I think-
ironically, for the rest.
I think Alex will agree with me that Friday was far more lethal.
I nearly died icy and OC.
Yep.
So
Friday.
before we jump into the meat of the action, did anyone do anything particularly shenanigan-full on Thursday evening?
It was more meeting people, wasn't it? Or
I
seeing
witnessed
people.
the last Thursday of the dog end. Well, we both witnessed the
Oh,
last
yeah.
Thursday of
Oh,
the dog
that
end.
place.
You went to the dog end rave.
That place was more sweat than canvas.
That was touching the side of the tent. I was like, oh, good. This is nice. Yeah.
Cozy.
That was a lot of fun. Altering songs into Jackdaw theme songs was a lot of fun. Lady Gaga's Bad Romance is now Bad Contract.
That makes so much sense.
We went on Sausage Quest as well.
Yeah.
But you did that like 5 times a day per day over the weekend.
I was sat, but we were all sat by the fire at this point, weren't we? I think.
Yeah,
And then
and
we
Dawn.
started to hear Sausage Quest, Sausage Quest,
Oh
Sausage
no,
Quest.
I was at League, so it started at League.
Oh.
So I heard them fade off saying Sausage Quest. Then sometime later, you will have heard them in the distance.
Sausage Quest, and then you guys arrived chanting Sausage Quest to go and get sausages.
I can't believe you did it all the way there. I thought it was going to be like 3 times chanting it as a joke as you were walking away.
No, we did
But no.
We did the whole way to Dawn, and as we were going up the Dornish hill to your camp, there was a very confused looking gent in the darkness as we chanted Sausage
I think
Quest.
some people in House Lamella V just down the road heard you coming, and they were like, started chanting inside the tent.
After we got our sausages from Sausage Quest, we went and claimed the bar of Cord Draco, just jokingly planting our Jackdaw banner pole. Because, of course, for Sausage Quest, we needed Jackdaw banner. Planted the banner in front of the thing for the picture. The bloody banner pole broke on us, which was a fantastic way to start it.
That's such a kind of fairly fitting time in, because your arrival of like plunging the banner down, crack. It's just been so poetic.
It's so Jackdaw.
And I think I was a very sleepy boy
God, I
on
had
Friday.
so much alcohol.
I drank so much. Then I went to buy a bottle of mead. I'm like, this mead's going to last me a couple of days. Nah, bumped into the lovely Ian from the LARP Noobs, and then just sat by a fire with him for about 3 hours talking about Joe Abercrombie and having a good old giggle.
I think we need to make sure that we drag you somewhere to get you both hammered on the Thursday night, so then you don't do it on the Friday.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've got.
I don't get hangovers, so I'm lucky.
Don't say that, because I kept saying I've never had a hangover in a tent, and fuck me this weekend. It was awful on Saturday morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
I'm very unfortunate when it comes to hangovers. I don't need much to get pretty much knocked out and sedated the next day. For the rest of the day, just feel like absolute shit. But Friday went particularly hard.
Yeah.
It was that 14% cider at the Boar's
Yeah.
Head.
Oh, it's
That stuff
lethal.
is lethal. It's smooth. It's delicious. Don't get me
Doesn't
wrong.
taste alcoholic.
It doesn't really. It goes down like juice, and that's terrifying.
And then-
and
because
then you
can
go
have
like a sack of rocks.
exactly. Because
Literally.
if you have like 5 of them,
Yeah.
that's
oh,
like
yeah.
3 bottles of wine or more.
I had maybe 2, and the second one I cut with apple juice because it was that strong.
Well, you gave
I
me
could
one
already
cut with
feel
apple
it.
juice when I got there.
Yeah, that was like a thimble of apple juice on top of it. Because you did say you wanted a proper drink, and there's no drink more proper than that goddamn cider.
No.
I do like good strong cider, to be fair.
I was gonna say I've never been that wankered off cider.
But yes, that was kind of Thursday. Was just kind of nice, wasn't it? We saw a few people, caught up with a few listeners,
Met some people as well.
Met some people at the Jackdaws.
Oh no, it's on the Friday. I got spotted by a listener when I was walking through Wintermark, and it's the first time I've been on my own and got spotted.
Oh.
Like, you're Larps and Darps, aren't you? I was like, how did you know? Usually they spot Nietzsche or Tristan. They never spot me. So thank you.
Oh dear. But yeah, Thursday night was nice. Got all set. I'm really glad we got there on Thursday because then you can get the cab set up and you're not stressing on the Fridays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I say it's nice to have that one night of drinking OC, especially in the winter when you've not seen so many people for so long.
Yeah, it was like we were saying like the Thursday of E1 last year when we were surrounded by people that hadn't seen each other in 3 years. It was really nice, wasn't it? But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like 6 months. You haven't seen most of these people for ages, and a nice big get together.
Honestly, if you can make it to a Thursday, do it. It is worth the extra £5 to get on site.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, £5 for a night of camping anywhere. Like, even if you weren't camping in such a great place with so many great people, like, that's cheap.
I think the biggest obstacle is just getting the time off. Like,
Yeah.
that's it, right?
Yeah,
But apart
exactly,
from that,
fair.
yeah, Thursdays are awesome.
So, which one of us wants to kick off Friday? Alex and Chloe, do you fancy it since it's your first year back?
So I woke up Friday and I decided, how much can a human being drink?
And you started immediately.
Let's find out. And I think, by about midday, I really
you
put myself
did?
through the paces. Well, we went to the shop, didn't we? Because you needed more firewood. Because Thursday night, when I was a bit tipsy, I decided that your fire needed a whole bag of kindling to get started.
I watched them go. I was like, I mean, I only used like 4
Oh, is
sticks
that why
usually.
you kept coming over to ask
Yeah,
for
because the
kindling?
whole bag was used, and Alex was like, "No, you'll need a fair amount." And I was like, "That's a lot of my kindling on." Yeah, you'll need more. Yeah, I know now. Yeah.
Being, in Navarre, there's so much wood. You don't need to worry about it. But
Yeah, well, there you go.
and the rest of Friday is a bit of a blur. So I'll let Chloe take it away from here. She can help remind me with exactly what happened.
What did happen Friday?
It was a blur for Chloe too.
I remember how I kicked off. Do you remember? I can't remember. So we split off kind of just before time in, didn't we? Where did you guys start time in?
We started at 6 p.m. straight away for the debutants ball.
Did you go to standing?
I made it a point not to go to any meetings.
Oh, good shout. Fair enough.
I was like, I'm not going on holiday to go to meetings.
I went to 12 meetings.
Yeah, we had a
over
very
this.
opposite
Well,
approach.
then you shouldn't be at meeting the LARP, which is what Empire is.
Yeah, who would have thought being
I was at Tavern the LARP, okay?
Yeah, no, look, that very valid LARP.
Yeah, exactly.
Who thought being a merchant prince wouldn't be the life of luxury, be more the life of an accountant? Do you want to kick us off then, Morgan?
Yeah, I can kick off. So we thought we'd go off with a bang. So me and Will, who plays Viridian, decided we would come in, having just got back from Brookelliand. So we went to round the back.
Broccoli land.
Sorry, Broccoli Land. We went round the back of Navarre. We got a blood capsule, popped it in the mouth, got some blood, poured it on our heads, bit the blood capsule. I always assume blood capsules have blood.
I was hoping that I'd bump into you doing this, but
Yeah,
I
we were
didn't
at
get
Navarre
to
waiting for you to
I was
pass,
at the
but you
boar's
never
head. I
did.
thought you were coming down that way.
Yeah, no, we didn't in the end. But I had a blood cap. We intended to come out that way.
Yeah.
And then we never did. Look, I was being dragged.
That's fine.
I always assumed blood capsules had liquid in them,
Yeah.
but they're full of a powder, which I guess then becomes blood in your mouth. I nearly actually threw up. Like I'm I was
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine that
"Oh,
tastes nice."
That was not pleasant. But basically, blood pouring in my face, pouring out my mouth. People just kind of watch, like, what the fuck is going on?
Maybe next time use cherry jam or something
Yeah,
like that.
that'd be nice.
Wait, so fake blood in that sense then is just coloured
Yes.
saliva?
Yeah, it must be. But it was just like a powder thing, and I was like, ugh. It was very unpleasant. Especially because I wasn't expecting that sensation. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, perfect. What's going on?
So you came back dribbling from the Brock.
Yeah, basically, yep. Got dragged through Navarre, saw some people we knew. They're like, you all right? I was like, yeah, I've been better. As we kind of get dragged through. And we'd spoken to Lady Lordine in the house, and we said, oh, we'll go past the Synod, the hub where she'll be. Collapsed on the floor. And then, obviously, so I didn't actually have a traumatic wound from echoes in the end. But the guy,
So you just pretended.
the guy, the mage kind of leaned in. He's like, "What? Kind of what's wrong with you?" I was like, "Make it up." And he was like, "Oh, I get you." So then we basically did some roleplay. He used some magic to heal my wounds whilst I was just writhing on the floor, covered in blood. Then managed to stand up. Viridian's just screaming about how the heart of the Vorn is alive and it thinks. kind of screaming like crack-eyed, and was just kind of watching.
Oh, did he
him.
go as well? Did he see
Yeah.
what's inside the heart?
Yeah, he came to the heart as well. Which very excited that little spring boy. He got very excited by that.
I am curious how you played Brock Horror, shall I say?
I honestly, a lot of the time, it didn't come to the surface very much. So like when it came up, I just kind of was like, yeah, it was shit's fucked. So it's like I'll talk to you about it later, but it was very much I kind of like I can still see it. And I spoke to people who'd been to the heart.
Yeah, I'm not ready to discuss it.
Yeah, like I can't. We kind of discussed the theories of what we have, and I'll save those for the field. But if you can find someone that went to the heart, I would recommend a chat with them because it's pretty cool. But yeah, got healed up, then kind of ambled my way over to Dulac was kind of how we started timing. Having to be like, where's camp? You know, they just arrived. Where am I supposed to be going? But yeah, that was kind of a very nice explosive start to timing.
I like the idea of timing being you actually arriving at Anvil.
Yeah, well, the Yo folk that live below the abstraction layer and kind of camp outside of town, like, oh, they come in and they do breakfast and they've made the dinner and stuff, but whilst we're not there, kind of thing. So that was the idea. I was like, I don't know where camp is because I've just arrived.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works out quite nicely because then you can be like, oh, good. Camp setup's nice, food's ready, good stuff. But that was how we started.
I started with the Debutants Ball. So the league, every time we open up the event, the egregores lead a gathering in which we talk about, well, someone steps forward and talks about the class they play or the various classes of the league, such as what a Bravo does, what a Mountebank does, what a Reckoning is, etc., etc., etc. It's a very good way I find, to get new players to really know what each role of the league is. So everyone knows in the league to gather there at 6 if you want to do a bit of hobnobbing afterwards, try and get some new recruits, maybe help people find their direction in game. Usually I have a couple of chats and wander off and go to military practice, the block training. But this time, weirdly, I had a queue of people, it seemed, wanting to talk to me, which made me feel very special.
Oh, to speak to the Count of Vagabonds himself.
I know, right? What an honour. So, we had Luther, I think, was the first one to approach me. Luther is the brother of
No,
Reiner.
Dr. Luther.
So he's Dr. Luther. He was the brother of Reiner. Unfortunately, Reiner tragically died at sea.
They did look very similar.
Mid-event.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
very
look-
similar
you
actually.
see the
did
family
Ryan and Dr.
resemblance,
Luther.
yeah.
I
very
know,
much
I've never seen a Mero look so much like a human before, but there we go.
Mirrors are humans, aren't they?
Mero, how much
Back
do
to
we-
the lineage episode.
how long do we have to rally against this prejudice? Lineage humans are humans too.
I think we need to sit Tom down and make him listen to the Lineage episode again.
I see Nietzsche is not racist.
No, OC Tom is though, apparently.
Oh no.
He's not, I'm joking.
But yes, he came and told us that Reiner had died at sea horribly, and funnily enough, he owes me 2 crowns. Still waiting on those 2 crowns, but
You won't get them, they're at the bottom of the ocean.
yeah, but that's passed on to his brother apparently. So
Brilliant.
Oh well, as long as he
wait
agrees
for
to
those
that.
2 crowns. I also got given his. No, I'll leave that for later because I've got other things. One of the big things that happened at Debutant's Ball, though, which was exciting, was Obi, one of our listeners who plays Ricardo Embercast, came up to the Jackdaws offering us a job, which was a very fun little one that I could send our new members out to really just hit the field in our stride. And I'm so glad they came up to us with this job. It just has Jackdaw written all over us. He
I
employed
wish I'd
us
seen this. It sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
for a very good price. I think it was 4 crowns a head. We send over 3 to heckle a rival tour led by Lord Dorian Denholm. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Which was led by another one of our listeners, Zebediah. So they're now having a tour off. So my Jackdaws were employed to heckle the tours.
See, I did see this from afar, but I didn't know what. I thought she'd just gone on a tour because I recognised one of the Jackdaws she was new to that event, and I just showed her around. But I thought, oh, she'd gone on an in-character tour. That's nice. But she looked very happy, and I think she was just really enjoying heckling.
Oh my god.
So yes, apparently, I went and asked them for notes because unfortunately I couldn't go on the tour because I'm too important for such things.
I feel like
course.
all the
to do.
funnest thing that your jackdaws have done this weekend, you've not been at any of them because you've been at meetings.
Well, I've got to get them the game somehow.
Yeah.
But effectively, they arrived late to heckle the tour, but when they did so, they really geared up heckling. And the tour leader had to distract them by conveniently dropping coins all over and materials. And eventually they got bored and went and looked at jewellery.
Sorry, he was dropping materials.
He was dropping a few coins, I believe,
It's
to
like he was
distract them.
tipping them.
That's like... That's so funny.
Do you know what comes to mind is, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, something like that.
I was thinking like jackdaws because they're like, I don't know why, are they anything like magpies? Because
Yeah,
that very much
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in the same bird
distracted by
family.
shiny and picking things up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the players in the Jackdaws who went on that had a fantastic first little experience of Anvil, a bit of light role-playing, a lot of fun, a bit of a joke. It was the perfect job for us,
Is it?
considering
I
we're the
think-
jokey guild.
I think they were all first-time jackdaws, weren't they?
Everyone except Wilhelm. Is it Wilhelm? I think, Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, isn't it?
Wilhelm, yes, was a first-time Jackdaw. So it was a great way to break them in. I also got a letter sent to me from a very appreciative great fox of Varushka, just thanking us for our courageous activities of saving his life during contract quest.
Oh, contract quests.
So he says we're welcome to join him for drinks at the Grapevine anytime, and he toasts the continued friendship between the Jackdaws and his house, or whatever the equivalent is in
Vale,
Varushka.
I think.
Yes.
Vale.
So that was my entrance to the event. So I've got plenty of stuff to talk after the Deputons Ball, but what about you, Kerrie?
I went, as I had always planned to do, straight to the Boar's Head to start brewing potions so that I could make a little bit of money before getting absolutely drunk. Which actually, the process of that began before time in, because whilst I was giving your new Jackdaw a tour around Anvil, we popped over to the Boar's Head, and obviously the very kind and generous person who owns the Boar's Head had to just get me to sample all the wares, because I obviously help work there. I need to make sure I know what everything tastes like. Not that anything was labelled and I could help anyone actually when I was working there in the Friday night, but it was all very delicious. So I did a bit of potion roleplay, which actually it was a bit awkward last summit when I was doing it, like just sat at my tent at time in, feeling really self-conscious, but just sitting in the corner of the tavern and doing it whilst there was also a new player, or I don't think she was new, but she'd mentioned that she'd got quite a bit of anxiety and she hadn't really come to she'd been struggling to introduce herself to people. I won't obviously say too much, but you could tell that she was a bit nervous. So me and the owner of the Boar's Head were having a chat with her, and I was trying to help her make her feel comfortable while sort of pottering about, pretending to pour herbs into my little pestle and mortar and make those. And then I was like, all right, I'm just going to go and finish making these potions. I'll be back in a minute. Can I just leave my tankard here? And Con was just like, what do you mean? Where are you going to? I was like, God 10, I need to go to the God 10. Like, I'm trying to be subtle and in character about it.
Heretic.
Yes, I'm off to go and pray to God that this potion doesn't explode. Then I think I ran around selling the potions because there were specific people that I knew wanted to buy specific things. Like I know you've got a friend in Dawn who's a spring mage, so
Yes,
I
Viridian.
specifically learnt to make spring potions so that I could help him out.
You've got a repeat customer. It appears,
Yes,
in the
which will
form
be
of-
good because it was basically just you, him, and Nietzsche that I provided potions for. And whilst you all gave me the sort of herbs in exchange for the potions, I asked for prosperity prices to make them. And he gave me a couple of crowns. You gave me, I think, a crown or something. You did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You reasonable price,
Yeah.
relatively generous even.
It was very prosperous. Spread the rings.
Well, exactly.
Especially for the hard work
you value
did.
my time, and I appreciate
Very
that.
right. They were good
And
potions.
so, any guesses how much Nietzsche decided
well,
my
all right,
time
I'm
was
guessing by the
worth?
build up a little bit less. So maybe
Yeah,
like seven
well,
rings.
we'll get
Seven
the-
rings, maybe.
A little bit less.
Oh wait, no, 7 rings. That would be wait, less than 7.
Less than 7, yeah.
6,
Less.
5 then.
No.
How many rings?
4.
It still counts as rings.
Oh, we're so poor.
So
I've
poor.
seen your coffers, Tom. We're so poor. Oh no.
Secrets. Don't out me. I'm a beggar man.
But it's all right because he has a squire in the league now. I mean, we'll talk more about that later. But I didn't have to help him put his armor on. Is all I'm saying.
Oh,
A
thank
squire,
God.
butler, and a housekeeper.
So he's going up in the world
A
clearly.
squire, a butler, and a housekeeper, but I'm so poor.
So
I'm a cult of personality.
I got back to the Boar's Head and continued on my cider, which we've already discussed how brutal that cider was. And as I say, trying to where I was on the lookout for sort of new players that looked nervous. I was trying to make people feel like, you know, they had somewhere to go and somewhere to feel welcome and someone to talk to. And also on the lookout for people I'd seen before. Bumped into Pepe the Squirrel again, of course. But I'll talk more about that later. Do we want to pass around a little bit?
I would like to thank one of our newest jackdaws, Grace, his mother, for surprising me with a gift. For taking in her beloved daughter, she presented me with an absolutely stunning handmade cloak. And I can't be thankful enough. It's absolutely beautiful.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. You saved my life. The event was colder than I thought it was. And the cape is so warm.
Yeah.
I'll put pictures on my profile, or I think they're on the league page or as well already. But I can't say how thankful I am for it. Unfortunately, I no longer look like the Count of Vagabonds because it actually looks like I've got money now.
Well,
Yeah.
that's funny. It's a funny coincidence that it looks like you have icy money.
It's a double-edged dagger,
Yeah.
but it's so warm.
Yeah, it's an absolutely awesome coat.
It came wrapped with a icy letter as well, so I'll have to show you that after.
Absolutely.
In regards to Friday, I remembered, as you mentioned, there was that person outside the Boar's Head. They nearly hired us to deliver a love message to a senator, but she was a little shy.
Oh.
And wasn't exactly sure whether or not it would be well received. So we said, we know we'll hang around if you fancy doing it in the future.
Yeah.
So if there's any senators listening, you nearly got a love letter if it's for you.
Yeah, well, just any of you feel free to presume that is you. If you're a senator, just assume that there is
Yeah.
someone out there nervously waiting to send you a love
Definitely
letter.
Dave.
No, we won't listen to think that's probably me. Yeah, Friday we were just kind of like dipping our toes in and out because it's obviously been a year since our last lap. So we didn't have any game or a lot of game to
Thing
kind
is,
of get involved with.
I remember exactly what we did on Friday, and I've just remembered because we spent the majority of the evening waiting for Tristan's fire to go out because he was like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
No,
Oh,
it
that was
Thursday.
Thursday night.
oh, was it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was when he
Thursday.
was off doing the dog end rave.
Yeah, that's when I was
and we
at a
spent
rave.
like
My fault,
3
because I'd
hours.
said, oh, it's all right, I'll wait till it dies down. And I wasn't that bothered, but you were like, oh, it's all right, I'll stay with you. And then I could see you getting like a bit like, I want to go. And I'm like, you can
no,
go.
I was
it's
I was
fine.
getting cold
Yeah.
because
yeah.
it had the fire wasn't there, so it wasn't very warm, but it was
No,
still
but it was
like
embers and we didn't want to leave it
yeah,
as it was.
still light enough that we couldn't leave it unattended.
Because I didn't know why we were sat there, and then after a while I was like, well, why are we here? And you guys said, oh, we're waiting for the fire to burn down. And I looked at it, and it was 2 logs that were glowing, and I was like, that's gonna take hours.
Yeah, what
until
you
it's
said
out.
like 6 hours at the time.
Yeah.
We were there,
Right,
like,
it's gonna be like
fuck,
6
I'm
hours.
going to
What
bed
is that?
for
Why
that.
we're here? This is like watching paint dry.
I messaged and I was like, because I was like, pour some water on the fire and come to the dog end. Come on, it's
well, yeah,
worth
because
it.
before you left, I said, can't we just like pour some water on it? And you were like, no, I don't want it to crack.
Yeah, well, no, I was a bit like, I'm not sure we should. And then when I got there, I was like, do you know what? It was I'd only been there 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, you know what, fuck it. It'd be funnier if they were here. So I was like,
Yeah.
get in here now.
But then
Yeah,
because
well.
you had messaged Jack, right?
No, the group
No,
chat.
it was the group chat. But we
Oh.
didn't see it for a good half hour until like.
I was still there.
We tried to come and find you, but well, that was Thursday. Then.
Yeah, well, someone said that you weren't in there, so we went to the forge. I don't know who.
Don't listen to people.
Yeah, always barge in and look for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shout.
On the Friday, we just kind of like wandered around, checked out all the different nations, saw what was around.
Bit of sightseeing. Yeah.
Yeah, ended back up at the Boar's Head, had a few there, and then
We went back
Well-
to our OC camping site and had a nice little dinner and things as well, didn't we?
yeah.
We just had a very quiet Friday. We were just reintroducing ourselves into LARP
No, we
slowly.
didn't. Oh, I did. You were very unwell. You were very drunk and very unwell
Yeah.
Friday.
I was fine up to a point. I think when
Yeah,
like
to be fair,
when like
Quiet one.
because even Con at the Boar's Head, he said, "Oh yeah, I saw that you were drinking, you were knocking them back last night, but you seemed fine." It was
Yeah.
only the morning after
To be
that he'd
fair-
heard that I was bad.
Do you remember going back to sausages? Sausages are the theme of the episode, by the way, everyone. That Con dropped a chorizo into the fire.
Yeah.
Grace plucked it out with some tongues, and you drunkenly ate it.
Oh yeah, I do remember being hand fed some meat. Yeah, was that?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the fire charred treats though.
Lovely. The ashes. So
Well, with
I would say that's what's made them unwell. It wasn't the
possibly,
booze.
yeah. Because
well, actually, coal is meant to be very good for a hangover.
oh, well, there you go.
Oh,
It's also good for your teeth.
Tips for a motus.
Yeah, eat from the fire if you're feeling bad.
Yeah, no, I got very drunk and like I knew that, as I said, I'd cut the cider with apple juice because I knew it was hitting me too hard. And it had been a couple of months since I'd had a drink before that, really, other than the first day. And I just at one point, it knocked into me and I just suddenly felt sick. And then all of a sudden there was loads of people around. There'd been like a travelling bar on a cart, apparently was parked outside. But I just looked up and it was full. And I just had a bit of a panic attack and had to go to bed. So I just like stood up and left. And then everyone was like, "Where did you go yesterday?" I was like,
To bed.
I was just drunk, so I went to sleep.
Yeah, because I remember like everyone was like, "Yeah, she was here," and then she just
Yeah,
folded
no.
her chair up and then walked away. And
I
I was
just
like,
full on
"Oh,
had like an
is she
OC, like,
back?"
nope, can't do this right now. I need to go to bed.
That's
It-
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always good to remember at LARP, if you need a minute, no one minds if you
No,
have to
exactly.
go and just
If-
readjust yourself to the world.
Even if
or-
you just need to go and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Even though you can't sleep because it's freezing. Because that also didn't help.
Thursday was the worst night. Friday wasn't too bad. Saturday was pretty warm actually. I was really warm Saturday night.
Sunday was beautiful and warm while we were packing away.
Oh, and we got burned because
Yeah.
the weather hates us.
But no, yeah, I spent all weekend freezing only to then get sunburn on my nose or to catch the sun on my nose and only my nose because of my Naga paint. So that was covering because I thought, oh, it's usually my cheeks that catch the sun if anywhere. So it's fine. They're covered. So I didn't put sun cream on. Also, it was cloudy. And then I'd totally forgotten that my nose is also part of that like line that gets sun-kissed. So yes, I look like I've got a very bad cold right now. And I have a bit of a cold, but I look a lot worse for it. So, oh well.
So, Morgan, did you get up to many more adventures on Friday night? I know you're a bit of a skirmish hoe.
Yeah, I got to 3 skirmishes.
That is insane.
It's not going to happen again this year.
All on Friday.
No, 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday.
I thought
right,
you
I was
meant
gonna
all on
say.
Friday then as well.
Well, I was
Yeah.
intending on going 2, but I was too kind of battered from
Did you
getting
get
back.
to go
Yeah.
on the Varushka skirmish at 6:30?
No,
That's the one I wanted to go on.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that one. Basically, we kind of got dragged back to camp. I had a bit of a reset. Started to meet people, asking how everyone's been since we last saw them, which was nice. Our neighbours were the Dego Vans, and I met a few people that I'd saw before time in. Kind of spoke to them, which was really nice. And then Viridian was kind of running around, as he likes to. And he was talking about there's a skirmish going on at 7:45 to Brookelliand.
You went back to
I went back
Brookelliand.
to Brookelliand after having complained about how horrible it was. I was like, oh, maybe I missed the place.
No, the boar's head is from Brookelliand.
Oh, they?
Yeah,
yeah. There were, because there's the Brock, isn't there, which is like the central defence in Brookelliand, I think, which is
Yeah.
where a lot of them live, because Brookelliand is full
Well,
of
there's
them.
a part of the territory called Borsdale.
Borsdale. Yeah.
That's where they're from.
But we went to basically went to the Night Protector of Spring, who was the person who was in charge of it. So, do you guys know what the Night Protector of Spring is? So, in Dawn, every summit we have a Night Protect competition, and whoever wins the Night Protect competition becomes the Night Protector of whatever season it is: spring, summer, autumn, winter. So we have 4 Night Protectors. Yo folk are not allowed to compete in the tournament, but a blind eye is turned to knight errants who gird as black knights. So that's what I do often. I'll dress as a black knight and then fight in the tourney. And whoever wins this kind of all-out melee becomes the Night Protector of whatever season. The Night Protector of Spring won last spring, and the mission was to go get this boon to help us cast this ritual. And I think it was to help cast the ritual for the Sunday battle. So it really enhances spring magic and allows you to cast a ritual with greater ease that can animate and turn a forest into soldiers. So we were trying to get this boon basically, but it was like right in the depths of Brookelliand. So a lot of it was a really small skirmish. It was like 25 people. So a lot of the ones I've been on are like 70, 80 people. It's 25 people, and the Night Protector was trying to kind of run around trying to find people to get on it. And we kind of gathered a lot of people around. And I spent a lot of time because Viridian had basically been said, right, I want you on it. And I was like, Viridian, I was like, would you like me to help you organize it? And then they're like, yes. I was like, perfect. So like, I'm able to get on this skirmish, which is really nice. I quite like the new, or it almost felt like the new system where the person organising skirmish has legal recourse to kick off if you gate jump. Has kind of changed. Like, people aren't gate jumping, like they aren't queue jumping because they can get in trouble for it with the militia. So it almost felt like there was more of a culture of like, go see the person who's organising, have a talk, see if you can get onto it.
That's a nice, icy solution to it.
I was going to say, because you have been saying that the way that it's sort of set up wasn't ideal. So is that improved?
I thought so. Well, I mean, I got onto 3 skirmishes, which were the ones I planned to get. The ones I saw, and I was like, I'd like to get onto them, and spoke to the person organising. I got on.
I need to remember to actually look up the skirmishes that are going on those
You
days.
You can't go to the skirmishes. You're in a meeting.
That is my game now.
That is the truth. I can't go. That is so true.
I like to picture, even if Nietzsche dies, the jackdaws can't be bothered to go to the meeting, so they've just hired someone to puppet me.
Yeah, there's like
Weekend at
Bernie's. I was
Bernie's.
going to say Weekend at Bernie's, puppeteering Nietzsche's corpse across Anvil. Don't bring him in a chair and walking it off.
Not gonna lie, I'd be
In a
totally up for
wheelbarrow.
that. I would totally be up to the doing that for at least one season.
Oh my goodness.
Just make a scarecrow Nietzsche and just go for it.
But yeah, so we kind of, there was a skirmish I was going to go on, which was exciting. So we had to go get this boon. It was going to be like loads of Valorn and spring horrors and eticaps and all this horrible stuff. Only 25 of us. And we go through the Sentinel Gate. And what I like about kind of like Valorn and like Husk skirmishes is that you have to be quiet because they are like attracted to noise and life and stuff. So if you try to be really quiet, they'll just ignore you. So as we come through the portal, so when you go through the Sentinel Gate, there's the big gate that you go through, and then you walk for a little bit, and then until you walk between 2 stones, like on the other side, you haven't come out of the gate. So it's kind of like semi out of character whilst you're walking to the destination. And then eventually once we get to the gate, it's like, right, everyone be really quiet. Like once we get there, we start wandering around, and you can just see there's fog hanging in the air, kind of like drifting through the glade. And you can see the shapes of husks just kind of ambling around, and then dryads with their big kind of like mantles and claws wandering around. So we start to move forward. We're looking. There's 2 Navari with us who are going to be the ones that are retrieving the boon, which I think took the form of a horn. And the rest of us were basically going to distract and take on the Valorn whilst that happened. We start to move up, and the scouts like run ahead. So they sprint off to go find where they've been told it should be. And then the Valorn see us eventually. They start to wander over, trying to be quiet as possible, but eventually it kicks off. The dryads start sprinting. There's like cleaves going off, people getting knocked down to the ground. And then hulking out of the woods is this 10-foot tall insectoid creature with these massive claws, starts swinging towards us. And as it hits people, it's calling strike down. So when it hits you, you're flat on your ass, and then it's like beating them whilst they're on the ground, swinging around. Everyone's trying to kind of clobber it, but this thing just kind of keeps running around. Like people like hitting their shields to distract it with noise, so it kind of turns around, starts sprinting towards them. All the while, dryads are sprinting in. There was a Dornish woman with a crossbow, and it was really cool because what she was doing was she would shoot a dryad. So they'd go down in 1 because they're not wearing armor. Yeah. And then we'd all, like 2 or 3 knights would swing in, execute them, then move on. Because if you don't kill them within 15 seconds, they get straight back up again.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of kind of like those crossbow bolts are flying of running after the corpses. It went really well. We didn't manage to kill the big beastie, but that wasn't the objective because then we saw the Navari scouts running with this horde. It's like, we've got it. We have to run.
Yeah.
So then we start sprinting through the gate like a retreat. People have gone really far off. So they're trying to pull back. So we're trying to push back the husks and the dryads as they start running their way back towards us. Eventually we all get back together and we start sprinting towards the gate as they run towards us, but we get clear and we get through and we were successful. It was a nice kind of big exciting kind of thing.
Nice.
What wasn't nice was because I have had the magical soup, but it's gone now. I had green lung.
Oh.
Don't know what green lung does. I just know that I had it.
Doesn't sound nice.
So I had to go to the hospital, which was then quite fun because I was just kind of like breathing like haggardly to kind of like, well, in fact, just how I'm breathing now, my voice has been fucked. We're just going,
Part of what's fucks your voice. I mean, I think my throat's just gone because I've just been shouting, "On laughter we saw."
On laughter we saw.
Every time I see a
that's peaked.
every time I see a jackdaw across the field, just so they know that I'm there, I'm like, wait for me.
I just say like how amazed like Chloe and I both were about the jackdaws because we've heard reference to it, but it was only started. Well, it wasn't started when we were last at LARP.
No, it was E3 last year. Really.
E3 last year. It started off with myself and
Rainer.
Salt. Actually, Rainer wasn't at that event, sadly. So it started at 2 and it's spiraled a little
Yeah,
bit.
to see how much it's grown is just absolutely amazing, and they're all such lovely guys. Like,
Oh yeah,
really,
so
really
much
lovely.
fun hanging out with them.
Yeah.
I adored your line after you first meeting them. I didn't know what to think, Tom, when I heard about all these jackdaws after editing all the episodes. All I can say is, the jackdaws.
Yeah. That's what I expected them to be like. Yeah. Perfect.
Don't know what I expected, but they were it.
So your hospital experience with Greenlong.
Oh yeah, no. So then I had to, which was really fun. So basically, there was someone who was apprenticing.
Yeah.
So there's a thing. I don't really know how it works, but if you're wanting to learn a new skill, you can get the apprentice skill, or you can be an apprentice to it.
Well, I did get taught through this when I joined the Apothecary Guild last summer, and they were saying how if you don't know how to do a certain recipe list, you'd be able to learn it from them. But then I think you still need to spend the skill point. I don't know if it'd take another summer or...
Yeah, I think you can only do it whilst you're with someone else, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But there was someone there that was learning how to do being in the hospital, and
Yeah,
it was
was
really
it?
fun because they were like, right, come here, right, can you take a big deep breath in? So I would go like, and they were like, can you hear that kind of like crunching noise? So that's how we identified green lung. And they were kind of like going through this whole process, and they were like, right, so we need this herb. I need you to put a pot on so we can put it in, and we need to make a kind of like a steam for him to breathe in.
Yeah.
Walking me through, it's like, right, you keep him company, I'll go get that done. So I'm just sitting there talking about it, like kind of talk about how great the fight was and stuff that's been on, and then had to breathe this thing. And it was my usual hospital experience is me lying on the ground with a broken limb, screaming in agony. Whereas this was just a kind of like my lungs really burn.
Yeah.
But that was good fun. Got a treat for green lung. I always love I love a trip to the hospital. I think it's one of my favourite like parts. Like you
I've still never been to the hospital.
need to fight a bit worse and get some traumatic wounds.
Yeah. Well, be careful.
Oh, but traumatic wounds are really nice to roleplay though.
Yeah.
What was your traumatic... Oh, did you say what your traumatic wound was when you got back into Anvil? Sorry.
I had
Green
green
lung.
lung, so it wasn't a traumatic wound. It was like a
Alright.
disease.
Oh, no, not from the Sentinel Gate. Didn't you receive one in the Brock?
Oh no, I didn't get one.
No,
Oh,
not
you
really.
didn't?
No,
It
I was
like a
supposed to, but they
roleplay
didn't put
thing.
one in the pack, so we just pretended.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was saying that I got jammed in the back by a dryad, so I had a piece of dryad like rammed in my back. That basically we hadn't noticed, and then become dislodged and pierced something whilst we were walking to Anvil.
Yeah.
So I got driven out, and then we kind of drew the infection out.
interesting.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. I tell you what, though, I'm really struggling to remember Friday.
Yeah, same.
I made notes.
Oh well, yeah, I need to make better notes. Clearly,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whilst you were off doing that, I think I went to paperwork meeting.
I thought you were going to say paperwork quest then.
But everything's a quest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. This quest involved going over to our friends at a house called Draco, owners of Wise Guys in Dawn, to finalise our contract with them, because hopefully we shall be fighting with Dawn for the next 4 battles.
Yes, I am very excited for that.
So yes, we took one of my tea-stained and pre-written contracts for them to sign. It's so fun to roleplay with the Dawnish in signing Leaguish paperwork, because me and Modesto were sat there. We made fun little amendments such as, if there is risks of danger, the captains will be talking to each other, so we wouldn't have to be forced to go any of your suicidal Dawnish glory charges.
There's no such thing as a suicidal glory charge unless you're
It is
bad
if you're the league.
unless you're bad at glory charging.
Or
So,
we,
yeah.
or we had the loot clause. If we looted anything, we get to keep it. If I'm in danger as the merchant prince, they will fight to protect me as much as we will fight to protect their leader. But they added fun little amendments as well, because they were like, well, you've got some amendments in, we'll put some amendments in. So the
We want some glorious amendments as well.
well, you funny should say that, is the jackdaws should always act gloriously as they can possibly manage, and that the jackdaws must always drink, eat, and be merry.
But
Oh.
Jackdaw and Glory are like antonyms of each other.
The inglorious jackdaws.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
No,
So-
just a normal moron. I'm sorry, I love you.
I know. So yeah, we went and filled out all the contracts. That was fun. I went to another little meeting. This was just a planning meeting between a few different players. So that took place at the Broken Ode. I had a few coffees. But apparently, whilst I was at the Broken Ode, some Crimson Reapers apparently came into the camp looking for Nietzsche.
Yeah, I heard about this. And I was like, what's Nietzsche done? Why are the Crimson Reapers looking for him?
What trouble has Nietzsche got himself into? Apparently, there was only one jackdaw there, and it was a lot of girded up people coming to find me, fully armed and on bite.
Oh my god.
Allegedly.
So for those who don't know, bite is basically fantasy cocaine, which makes you super aggressive and...
Is bite legal in the Empire?
No,
'Cause
not
I was going
at
to say,
all.
I feel like
It's one
someone
that
said it was, but I think it might have been. I might have misheard.
No, that's not legal.
So as
I
you can
didn't think
imagine,
so.
4 Crimson Reapers come to the Jackdaw tent demanding to see Nietzsche. They're going to worry. So whilst I was having a lovely time at the Broken Ode, discussing business with a few interesting parties, having a bit of a laugh and a coffee, my jackdaws are doing cardio around the field, looking for me, worrying I am fucking dead.
Yeah, one of
Oh
them
my
came to the boar's
God.
head and told me.
Apparently,
Incredible.
someone had said Nietzsche's already gone into the Crimson Reaper's tent. Modesta's like, fuck me, not even Nietzsche's that stupid to go in there. So as I'm having a lovely coffee, I see these flock of jackdaws flying down the path.
Flying.
I'm like, look out the tent's like, what you fucking lot doing? It's like, fuck's sake, there he is. And he explained to me, Reapers have been to the camp, they're looking for you, yada,
my
yada,
goodness.
yada. Now, some would claim I went and thought, oh, Crimson Reapers, fuck, I've got to get out of here. Well, actually, no. I was running out of time because I had to run off and get girded for the love duel.
Ah, the love duel. Yes, no, because I remember because it was dark when you did the love duel, wasn't it?
It was quite dark in dawn.
Because I remember where I was when you were doing the love duel.
You didn't turn up to see your friend fight the love
No,
duel.
I'm very sorry. I forgot what time.
Have
it
we
was
had a
on.
recap on all the Love Duel stuff?
So you can listen back to our previous E4 episodes if you want to have a proper experience of the love duel.
2023 E4.
Brief summary.
Brief summary is, we were hired by Core Draco to fight on their behalf against the Freeborn for their hand in love or something like that. You brass coasters and Dornish are so bound with love. But we beat the Freeborn's arse. They claimed it was unfair that Core Draco hired us for a love duel. So we said, why not you hire us this season for the love duel? To which they did. So we now go up, fully girded up as the Jackdaws to fight the love duel on the Freeborn's behalf. We basically went up 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4, all the way from the Lee camp, all the way to Core Draco's Wise Guys pub in the Glory Square, carrying the
Incredible.
Jackdaws flag.
Incredible.
As we arrived there, fully girded up, looking like a professional leaguish military unit, I think Dawn started to shake in the knees a bit because they said, anyone who wants to fight for love, get in here.
That's skeevy, that is. Don't approve of that.
So there's about 10 jackdaws. I'd say about 10 freeborn because the other mercenaries they hired didn't bother to turn up, apparently. So you've got a semi-heavy arm, a mix of skirmishes and heavy armored leaguish people, and as you imagine, very lightly armored freeborn against, I would say, 40 heavily armed, fully girded, heavily shielded Dornish people.
You did this. Just hearing of this story did provide me with a philosophical conversation on the nature of glory that evening, though. To be fair,
I think I have to agree with you on this.
Yeah.
A slaughter of a very unarmed opponent in a hand of love does not seem
But
glorious.
I would have agreed if they had stated their case.
No,
But they just said, fight, do anyone fight for love? And then people just, I don't agree with that.
My favourite part of that was, though, we had invited some of our friends from the league to come across to help us fight. He said, I'm up for kicking some Dornish arse. Why not? Sirio, very, very good friend of the Jackdaws. And I believe another of the Barosses went with him as well. I apologise, I don't know your IC name. But what I adored was he came up to me, sorry, Nietzsche, You've offered me a crown to fight over there. To which I don't fucking blame you. Do what you want, mate.
I do the same.
I do the same. We just like had a hug before the battle, and there it was off. And my God, it was a slaughter, but we held our ground. The freeborn went down first, but we held for a good, probably 5 minutes. I'd like to think against a heavily armored Dornish unit. I think that's good going.
Well done.
Yeah,
I'm sad I missed it.
we still got paid our
Well,
two
that's the
friends worth of
important part.
material. So yeah, so that was a bit more of my evening. Have you got up to anything else?
Yeah, so after the battle, after my skirmish, I realised that I was supposed to be meeting some heralds. I can't remember if I mentioned this in pre-LARP, but I am wanting to have Challenge the Iron Duke cast on me, which binds an Eternal called the Iron Duke to issue me a challenge. And if I succeed that challenge, I get a boon from him. I am using this as part of my test where I have to challenge 7 nobles. I've decided one of those nobles is going to be the Iron Duke to make my life nice and hard. And so I was like, I'll go speak to his heralds beforehand. So I go up towards the Regio, which is like the Imperial Regio, where like magic is kind of really strong. I don't really know. I'm not a mage because I heard the heralds were around there. Made my way up, got to the Regio, and I found them kind of gathered outside the circle. And as they were walking past, grabbed their attention, had a conversation. I was initially not sure whether or not I would have to have Challenge the Iron Duke cast upon me, but the answer to that question is basically yes. So I need to get that sorted. But they also invited Barion's heralds will be coming back in the spring, and House Dulac is going to be hosting them. So we're going to have heralds around our camp. We're going to have to give them like refreshment and somewhere. Basically, people can come to our camp to talk to the heralds, which is very exciting. So I know exactly what I'm doing. Kind of around time end is meeting these heralds and getting them sat down next event, which is just a very exciting kind of early start to the weekend. Was getting that sorted.
Yeah,
That sounds nice.
And then hung around the Regio. And I don't know if it's always like this, but there's a lot of drama. Like the entire time.
I've never really been to the Regio.
There was these things called tulpas, which are like beings manifested from the constellations. Ooh. And they were running around just cursing people, basically, if you got too close. So at one point, people went to attack one. It just called mass weakness on everyone. And then they kept cursing people as well. So people kept getting cursed. And we were watching them just kind of run around and attack people. There was one with like a deep hood, one with like a white cloak, and they were all just kind of running around attacking people.
We saw them. We saw like the white cloak. It was a girl in a white cloak.
We saw a guy in a white cloak, but there was
ominous.
Yeah.
And like
he had his face fully covered by a veil.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I think that's there's 2 constellations: the key and the lock. And the lock is about secrets, and the key is about truths and revealing them. And the basically the key was the one in white trying to reveal everyone's secrets, and then the one in black was the one like trying to kind of make you keep secrets and obtain them and find like keep secret information. And as I was watching this all kick off, people getting attacked, people getting scared, running around. Eventually, they kind of disappeared through the Regio, and then a ref came around handing out slips of paper. And I read the slip of paper, and it was basically like you've got a magical affliction, which is that I have to both reveal any secrets that I find, but also acquire as many secrets as possible until midnight.
That feels very Father McPherson.
Yes, very much kind of like finding stuff out and keeping it to myself, and exposing secrets that other people were keeping. So that was quite fun. Saw that. I saw someone I know at the Regio doing whispers at the Black Gate at their true love who had died. So they're basically someone who had died who had been executed as a hate cultist. They whispered through the Black Gate and they appeared in the Regio. And they were like talking to each other, which was very intense.
Yeah.
Which I believe was followed directly by an inquisition. Because this person was like, I love this hate cultists. And the priest was like,
I very openly and obviously love this hate cultist.
And the priest was like, okay, we should probably have a talk about this because that's not ideal. But yeah, that was kind of that. And it was starting to get dark. In this time, I spoke to somebody who's one of the nobles that I've challenged for my test. So they have given me, I need to race them from Glory Square to the Hall of Worlds.
Oh, yeah. Did you not do that? or did you?
No, it's for next event. So I was challenged this event.
I'm sure you're going to do that perfectly fair and square.
I can't get to the Hall of Worlds because I'm not a mage. So I need to find a way of getting to the Hall of Worlds. Basically, I have a few ideas. I have ways of doing it, but
Spoilers.
at present, I don't have them. I also have plans to help me as well. But yeah, so that was I got that challenge. I spoke to House Brightstone, which are good friends of mine. Spoke to their knight errant Damien about the nature of vengeance and our hatred of the Druge, which was quite an intense conversation. So it was just really nice to have some intense roleplay.
Yeah.
And then I had a ritual cast on me as well after that. I don't know, do you want to go?
So, right after the love duel, apparently we were meant to meet someone who was looking for a hate cult within Wintermark, apparently. However, the person who was meant to be showing us to the hate cult never turned up. So, while straight after the love duel, the jackdaws were just standing there in the middle of Wintermark, fully girded, looking threatening for about 10 minutes.
That is like the jackdaws brief.
I was going to say, do you have to have at least one, sort of part of each event where all the jackdaws are either fully armoured or fully weaponed?
Standing, intimidating people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they apparently never turned up. So after about 10 minutes of that, we went back to camp. They did find us and apologise they weren't there. They were at a different meeting at the time. They paid
so
us.
Easily done, though, to be fair.
Oh, definitely. They paid us with a bottle of white rum, which was very nice and appreciated around camp. But after that, me and my dear Modesto decided to go and speak to the Crimson Reapers who had been looking for me. Apparently, it wasn't a threat. They just wanted to meet the Uncle Nietzsche of the Jolly Jackdaws and have a word, see how one of the newest guilds of the League was doing, and offer us some help.
Nice.
So they wanted to offer. Oh, don't say too nice with the Reapers. If they offer you help, there's probably something else on the other side.
There's a price.
Oh, and that price, I imagine, be very high. What they were going to offer, and don't get me wrong, it was a bloody generous offer, was a mercenary banner.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Which would be fantastic. But incidentally, we had previously signed with Draco
Yeah.
for a mercenary contract. Part of our deal is they would give us all the materials for a mercenary contract, and we would fight for them for 4 events.
Oh, so what? Hang on. Did the Crimson Reapers want to hire you?
The Crimson Reapers knew we were a new guild.
So hang on. If they were going to provide you, you could have just had the resources for 2 banners, and then next year made another one.
Do you want to fuck with the Crimson Reapers?
Yeah.
They're so much bigger than us.
Yes, so.
We don't want to fuck with them too yet.
My current game style apparently is to get yourself in heaps of trouble.
Oh yeah.
So I'm 100% behind this.
But you're on your own. It's on your head. I've got flocklings to look after.
Flocklings, my little baby jackdaws.
But yeah, it was a fantastic offer. But they were mentioning they want to. I think OC they want to work with us and bounce offers a bit more. So it was lovely to get some game with them. We were fully girded up because we'd just come back from the duel. I was like, why are you so dressed up just to come and see me? It's like, well, we don't feel that threatened by you. Maybe a little healthy bit of threat, but we have just come back from the duel. So it was very nice that they offered us the banner and said, if you ever need any support, please do come to us. They also said all the other mercenary companies were on our side and very much supporting us as well. So that was like a nice bit of role play, meeting the leader of the Crimson Reapers and having a talk about that.
I think I've covered pretty much my whole night. I say I mostly spent it at the Boar's Head. I mean, I decided to just sort of do a shift there on the Friday night, and then I could spend a bit more time like just wandering around and being in different parts of Anvil. But because they give me free alcohol for working there, basically, I want to make sure that I actually do, some hours
do your work,
there.
yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So, just calling people over like, hi, come have a drink. And they go, what have you got? And I'm like, well, we've got this, and we've got loads of other stuff, but I don't know what it is. So I can go get someone else to help you. Hang on.
Did you get paper out in the end? You had your articles of that, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I write the paper before I go, and then I didn't.
Is Highland a journalist? I know, obviously, Lupita.
Highland's been sent by Lupita to take up all of her roles. So she'll be doing all the same things, basically. Only she's interested in doing some mage rituals as well. So she's started shadowing for that. But I will talk about that on the Saturday episode.
Just before I go to my next thing, was the first time I ever stepped in the Crimson Reapers camp. My God, it's magnificent. Very
it?
intimidating. Big tent.
Oh, I'm just going to tell you what the league is on a night. Dead.
Yeah, it's nice camping in the league all
It's
night, to be fair.
dead. We went around for a booze cruise and it was just dead. There was nothing going
There's
on.
no proper bars in the league. I think Oaksy, that's one of
soon
my...
there'll be the Jolly Jackdaws Tavern, won't there?
Yeah,
most likely.
yes.
It's one of my regrets, I think, about the league. It's just there's not much nightlife there other than on the Festival
No,
of
but
Reaper.
that, as I say, that's good for if you want to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Of them with near the marchers who are always
We're not
singing and
far
having
from
a
the
good time.
Forge either.
Yeah, true. I suppose it keeps people away.
Yeah.
But seeing the Crimson Reapers tent was phenomenal. There was a lot of important looking people in there. So, ooh, look at me hobnobbing with important folks. But speaking of important folks, my next meeting was the Prince's meeting. So basically, for those who don't know, the Prince's meeting is where all the best and brightest of the league and Uncle Nietzsche get together
And Uncle Nietzsche.
to discuss what's going on. I don't really have my oars in too much political game yet, if I ever do. But it was like hearing from the general what we want to do this time, seeing what needs to be done within the league, see where money's going, talking about the dueling competition. There is a big push in this Winds of Fortune that over the year the league is going to have a competition to see who can build the most shit. It's discussing getting resources, how can we benefit this, who wants the Chair of the Wolf, which is a new position that's coming up specifically for the league that gives you extra build slots. Because
it's
apparently we like building stuff.
Boss stuff, I guess.
Pretty
right?
much. It's
Yeah.
nice to have a specific league one. It's also discussing, do we want to provide any money to these nations or projects? Because apparently the league just bankrolls everything in the Empire.
Lorenzo certainly did a lot of that, to be fair.
They did. I don't usually have too much to do. I might have been glowering at some of the discussion of the High Guard attending the Festival of the Reaper because I still haven't got over that the fountain got knocked over last year.
You're still salty about that.
I am still a salty boy. A lot of people are trying to mend that. I like to play up.
I spoke to some highborn about that. I was like, "You're gonna kick over their fountain again?"
I still personally, feel like they got off with a slap on the wrist, but so much work has gone into mending relationships.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
whatnot. But my highlight for that meeting was the Crimson Reaper, who is a general, Jean, who has provided a lot of fun gameplay for me over the weekend. Fantastic player. Said, I believe my adjutant isn't here. So if anyone wants to learn some more military experience, get to know the game, come to me. Except you, Nietzsche. You don't get to do it.
The infamous Nicomo Van Dyer.
Oh, yeah. Effectively, which I responded, well, why would I need to learn from you? I'm already perfect. I do a good enough job. It's all kosher, ain't it? And finally, I once again got invited back to the Reaper's tent after that meeting to discuss building stuff into Sato, kind of seeing how we can help each other, maybe give each other a leg up in the competition, seeing if there's anything particular we need building other than the Colossus. Because
What's the Colossus?
So, Savos has a Colossus. I can't remember who of.
Massive statue, I'm guessing.
Giant statue, yes. It
Yeah,
could have been Lorenzo, or the Colossus we're building into Sato could be giant one of Lorenzo. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Lorenzo's in Savos, but Tasato wants to build an even bigger one.
Of who?
We haven't decided yet.
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche would be good. I would have Nietzsche built in a colossal statue, giving the finger to the other side of the river Regio from Tasato Mestra. That would be my dream. And that is the end of my first night of many meetings. I think after that,
Is that all you did?
That's all I did that
all?
evening, to which I settled down for a few drinks after at my favourite pub, the Boar's Head.
Well, I think because we were together for a fair bit, because I went to get my ritual done at the Regio, so we were. I think you caught up to me at one point, and I was like, "Oh, I'm off to go speak to someone to get a ritual cast on me." And we went to speak to House Meliora, and I spoke to two good friends of mine. I was like, "I need this ritual cast on me." Do you fancy doing it, basically? So we got together all our resources. I spent a lot of money on that ritual. Maybe overpaid, but I was like, I like these guys. So I kind of funneled a lot of resources and we went up to the Regio to get Skin of Bark, Blood of Amber, I think it's called, which gives you an extra 3 hits, which is the first time you guys had seen the ritual, wasn't it? Basically.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun to see.
Usually they have the Regio. It was the spark, the electricity had gone out, but usually the Regio has like music going and lights kind of pointing down to add a bit of atmosphere to it. But unfortunately, it was just completely pitch black. But it was still quite atmospheric. So we went up to the Regio. They cast a ritual on me, which had like the kind of gorget being put on me. They were kind of chanting stuff and describing how like my skin was getting kind of stronger and I was getting taller, which was really cool. Basically, kind of like visualizing yourself as a tree to represent like how much more durable you're going to be, which is always fun. I love a good ritual. Last time I had that ritual, it hurt a lot more. I've had 2 rituals and both times blood has been spilled. This time it was a bit nicer. And then we went back basically to their camp, sat around, had lots of drinks, spoke about the nature of glory. I was kind of saying how the jackdaws got steamrolled, and I didn't think it was a very glorious thing to do.
It was not very nice. But we still got paid.
You still got paid. And I challenged the noble of their house to as one of the people I'm testing. So it was kind of like, that was kind of my busy night. I'm sure I've forgotten a litany of things. Spent a lot of time walking around speaking to people I hadn't seen in 6 months.
Jam-packed Friday then.
Yeah, it was Good Friday. Really good Friday. And yeah, on to the big battle tomorrow. Oh, I was up till 2:30 in the morning, which is
I think I was up to a similar time.
just a classic standard Empire bedtime.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I'm not at Empire, I'm like in bed by 10 most nights. But
Yeah.
then when you are there, there's so much to do, and you don't want to lose any time.
No,
So you're
exactly.
quite happy to have 4 hours sleep.
With no phones and watches as well, it's very
Yeah.
easy for it to get to 1 o'clock in the morning without most people realizing.
Oh, my phone died in the second day and I just never charged it since.
I absolutely love not having my phone for a full
Yeah,
weekend,
same.
and no one else has their phone.
Then you see, you just lose track of time, and then you're like, "What time is it? 2:30. We should probably go to bed now."
Yeah.
Or we could drink more.
Yeah,
Fire's still going. It would be unsafe to leave it.
it would be exactly.
Yeah, I think we went to bed at a similar time though. For the first time, I was like, you know what? I'm finished business. I'm going to go find Tristan to go having a drink because he's always doing shit.
Yeah,
10 minutes, we actually found you, surprisingly.
yeah. What do
Tristan,
we do?
what are you doing?
What do we do on Friday?
Well, you went to bed as soon as I found you.
Oh, you were? Yes, I was walking down the hill to go to the toilet, I think, and I saw
Yeah.
you guys walking up. I was like, I'm off to bed. Sorry.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, the first time I actually have time to play with you.
Now I regret that. Maybe we should have been like, "Oh, we'll go get a drink."
Oh well,
There's always next
you
time.
two.
Yeah.
It's not like you two can never have a drink, OC.
No, this is true.
So we should make a thing because there's so many points where like we would see Tristan for a few minutes, or we'd catch up with Highland, or we'd catch up with Uncle Nietzsche for a couple of minutes or whatever. Like we should make a date that
Yeah.
like one evening we just sit and we just chill and
Yeah.
like we drink.
Well, maybe not a whole evening. A few hours.
But that's, yeah.
If we say, for example, like Saturday at 10, don't
Yeah.
book in any meetings.
Well, yeah.
We'll all
Well,
have 2 hours.
to be
of the
fair,
Yeah, exactly.
the Jackdaws had like a bit of a port and cheese night or whatever, like, and that was at a set time. So something like that, we'd invite you along.
I'll tell you what. That's probably. I'm gonna get. So I spoke to Emma about this because she's coming to the next event, and we're like, we're gonna set times aside to go see each other, and we should do something
Yeah,
like.
let's set a little party.
Well, because Deluxe hosting on that night anyway. As long as there's no important skirmishes or anything I need to get to, might as well be like, right after the heralds have gone, come round, eat what they haven't eaten, have a chat and a drink.
And if any listeners want to come and patronise the Boar's Head and meet the...
Patronise. Oh, no, that's patronise. Continue.
I mean, you're more than welcome to, but Manor is quite intimidating, so...
Oh, he's lovely.
No, he's absolutely, genuinely amazing
Are
person.
you just saying
but-
that because he's an orc, and yeah, the orcs intimidate me a bit as well.
Well, he's he's a built guy, but
Yeah.
don't patronise the Boar's Head. It might not end well, but patronise the Boar's Head.
Yes.
And you'll meet us there.
I'm thinking of making it like a regular thing where I'm stay there on a Friday and then can get about a bit more on a Saturday and see more things. So I'm not there all the time, but then if I've got a set time to be there, then if people do want to find me, for example, like I promised some listeners cake, and not everyone who was awarded the cake actually was able to receive
How
it.
many people got it?
I think 3, to be fair, out of 5. But I'm thinking if I do that next time, then I can say, come and find me at the Boar's Head on the Friday, because I had it with me. And if anyone had found me, then they would have been able to have it there. But no, sadly, not everyone found
A
it.
4th did come, but I couldn't find the cake for them.
Yeah, it was still at the Boar's Head, and they went to the Jackdaw camp. So I'll communicate it a bit more effectively.
It is the weird thing about Empire. It's the friendship holiday we all look forward to, but never hang out as friends.
Well, this is why we get the ox cart all down together. And then we've got a solid sort of 3 hours and a Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, or whatever at a service station.
Well, yeah, it was a good Friday.
Good
Enjoyed it.
Friday. I don't think there's ever a bad Friday.
I thought
Yeah, it was a great
It's just how
Friday.
cold it was.
Yeah, and then tomorrow,
So cold.
day after, battle for me, monstering for you guys.
Brah.
Except for me.
Yeah, except for you. You said you would monster this time.
I said I would think about it.
You could have played Droogy Drooge.
But then also, our new jackdaw went out monstering and found the Dornish terrifying and intimidating. And I said, that's how I'm going to react. That's why I've not been yet. I'm so glad someone's had that experience. And because everyone else has gone out and loved it. And I'm like, I don't think I would. I'm sure I wouldn't. So I'm kind of glad to have that validation of like, yes, not everybody loves it. I don't think I would. I had a panic attack just sat at the Boar's Head drinking.
That's absolutely
I don't think I
valid.
should go on the battlefield. So yeah, thank you for everyone who came to see us or bumped into us, or even everyone we've met, and even people who don't even know we do the podcast and aren't listening now. Thank you to them as well.
yeah, it's brilliant.
And thank you to all you guys for being great friends there and back, and on the little bits of time we did see each other in between. But yeah, I had very much fun, and I'm glad that you guys all enjoy it as much as I do.
Yeah. Right. See you next week for Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening. You can find us on all social medias. And if you feel like supporting the podcast, you can also find us on Patreon. And also our Empire discount codes are in the episode description. Thanks again for listening, and see you next time.